So a two count breathing cadence is when you take 2 steps per cycle of breath. It's the most extreme form of hyperventilation. If you do not finish within 30 seconds, the muscles will begin shutting down, and now you're gonna underperform. So you have to slow down once you're there if the finish isn't close. So 2 count, it's a step, and every time when a foot hits the ground, that's when the exhale starts. All right, so it's ha, and a 2 count is ha, ha. So it's 2 steps per cycle of breath. Let's practice this together. So what I want you to do is just exhale on any foot and sync with me. Here we go. So a 3 count is the next thing that we actually, if you're on a 2 and you're far from the finish line, you gotta migrate to. So a 3 is just like it sounds. It's exhale, 1, 2, exhale. You're alternating sides when you're exhaling. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now the next piece is from a 3 to a 4. When you are on a 4, anything higher than a 4, you're getting enough oxygen to the muscles. You're okay. You may be suffering, but the muscles are okay. So a 4 or anything higher is exhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale. Now, because when we move, we're going slow, you're gonna shallow breathe. So how do you know you're about to go to a 3? Because your lungs are completely filled. I like being on a 4 count because I know when I go to a 3, something happened. And it's easy. The only time you're thinking about this is how am I doing? Like for example, in a workout, how do you know if you're going too hard? Well, it's when your demand for oxygen is exceeding what you could supply. This is the test. So what you have to do is develop the skill of out of control versus in control. And coaches, when you observe, you're listening for that frequency, the cadence. And that's the key. That 3, you realize that they're on the borderline of out of control. Now they can sustain that for 2, elites can do it for upwards of 5. But the rule is, you gotta go back to a 4 if you're not within range of the finish. So you go from a 3 to a 2 to the finish. All right, so 4, here we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you're on a 4 count, you're exhaling for 2 steps and inhaling for 2 steps. So let's try a 6. All right, 6 is exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. All right, and then I'm gonna do 3 steps. We'll then move to 3 steps, exhale, 3 steps, inhale. All right, because you were on 8 count.
I was off, yeah.
You were on 8, which is fine.
Yeah.
That was your signature. All right, it's fine. So, but I want to teach you higher level ones so you can be aware. So here we go. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's really what we're talking about here, is that you want a repeatable cycle for your breath so that your mind can know, hey, this is coming, right? Whether it's on a 4 count, 8 count, 6 count, it doesn't really matter as long as your brain can feel like there's more oxygen coming so you can utilize it effectively.
A reliable, predictable pattern.
A reliable pattern, yeah.
Because if I breathe like this, now, when's my next breath coming? And the brain is responsible for the recruitment of your motor units. If the brain doesn't know, then it's not going to give you maximal recruitment. It's going to partially, which is going to make whatever you do more difficult. So why would you do that to yourself? It just makes whatever you do more challenging. You're undermining your own adaptation. And once you don't have the rhythm.
Things Chris said to me early on is we were running on the track and I was kind of like breathing really heavy. He's like, dude, he's like, you could breathe anytime you want when you're running, right? Like find your cadence. And in CrossFit, it's a little bit more difficult because oftentimes there's other movements incorporated, but you can still try and find a rhythm, like on a rower or whatever. Like finding a rhythm is something I think about often. It's just not as easy as when you're on the track, right? Because it's so repeatable.